All right, welcome to 608 Basic Computing. I'm in a holiday mode in a beautiful resort out here. And what we'll do is, because we started recording the basic idea of the rest of the chapters, I'll start with the first few chapters, the easy chapters. Chapter number one is all the easier chapter that you can think about. What's a computer? Introduction to computer system. Everything is a computer in today's time. Your smartwatch is perhaps a computer because it has an input device, an output device, it has a CPU, a memory chip, RAM. Today, the strongest things that you use, from cameras to monitors to your CCTVs, is basically an upgraded form of computer that we spoke about. So, in simple, if this is not a question you will get asked, but if a question is asked, what is a computer? A computer is a device used for computing, documentation, clarification online, anything that is to be done online, from filling a passport form to your NIS examinations. It's a combination of a hardware and a software. So all the software programs, from basic things, is your idea of all the apps inside a computer, the Linux or open Microsoft Office operating system, the web browser, all of them are softwares. The hardwares, the CPU, the printer, the components of a hardware are so common, the keyboard, the mouse. So one of the basic question we asked is the difference between a hardware and a software. The physical components that is used to physically store, perform an operation is a hardware. The software is a collection of programs. Remember the keywords that help the user interact with the computer hardware. So it is where the data is processed. So this is the difference. You can give examples, as we give a lot of examples: operating system, Windows, Linux, all of this. Android is a software. Your apps are a software. Excel, PowerPoint, Microsoft's, all these, Office Suite is a software, and antivirus is a software. The hardware are the things you can touch, feel, tangible product, keyboard, how monitor, CPU, even the motherboard. They have physical existence, they have logical existence. Here, you can't touch and feel a software, but its existence. And the hardware now can be divided further into input and output and storage units. So there are three important parts. The software is a system software and application software. More about it as we go ahead. So these are basic ideas. You see, there's an input and there's a CPU, the ALU, arithmetic logic unit, the control unit registers, and then there's an output unit, and there's a attached memory. You can increase the memory function. Now that you all know the question, the moment you asked a question about a computer, write the definition, write the difference in hardware and software, and then definitely draw this diagram. This diagram is very, very powerful. It helps people understand that you understood the basic idea. So now, what are the basic four functions of a computer? Receive input, any data that is keyboard through anything that you scan it, you are accepting the data, that's receiving the input. Processing the data, so the ALU, arithmetic logic unit, does all the logical operations. So there's a processing unit. There's a storage unit. So today they have pen drive, CDs, memories, Google Cloud, Amazon Cloud servers. All of this is storage device. And their output devices. It could be just a monitor screen that you're watching your Netflix movie on, is an output device, a printer, physical thing. So all of these are components of a computer. So the hardware components, computers, as I said, hardware components itself is processing hardware and peripheral device. Now it's getting interesting, something new. So what is the processing hardware? Something that is not outside. CPU is a processing hardware. As the name says, central processing unit. It is processing all the data that you have got. CPU works very closely with any of them, will work closely with software. So remember, hardware is further divided, processing unit and peripheral devices. So you have learned this so many times from class 5, class 3, you should know it. An input device, an output device. So you have these two devices, the printer, the monitor, or the scanner, or the output device, the input device, sorry. Scanner is an input device, keyboard and mouse. And then CPU, which is basically the brain of the computer. And then you have a memory disk, the hard disk, the DVD, the pen drive, as I said, and you have the storage devices online today. There's an entire question on input device. So you put the input device, the instruction from the user, the CPU processes it, and it converts into what you're doing. Very common input devices that we also know about is OMR, right? This is used for CAT examination, where you just shade it and then optical recognition happens, magnetic ink, recognition and mark sensitivity. So what's the first and most common input device? The keyboard. And why do we call it the QWERTY keyboard? This is a small, interesting take. It has 104 keys on it. Remember the 104 keys? When the earliest systems were devised, now we're talking pre-computer, it's just nostalgia information, trivia. The typewriters were, if you were typing it fast, it will get stuck. The keys will stuck. So they made sure the A is not next to B and B is not next to C. And they use something called the QWERTY keyboard. So the spacing will be far away. So when you type, there is a space to it. Although our systems have improved, but because the system humans adopt so well, we still continue to use QWERTY. Can you see? QWERTY. That's why it's called. Why is Z out here? It should be white out there. This is why it is called QWERTY keyboard. So now you get it. Now, of course, most of us don't even use QWERTY keyboard. What do we type? But we use a mobile phone, and it's a thumb. That's all. Two opposable thumb is what we use for typing. Mouse, it's integrated mouse nowadays. There's no external mouse out there. I don't think, if some of you got a mouse like that, keep it. It's a very nice piece to keep in a museum. But most of the laptops, don't have mouses. The mobile phones don't have mouses. External computers with a monitor have a mouse. So it's again an input device. It has a cursor or a pointer to display. It can roll it on a flat or hard surface. Now the mouse are integrated. The pointer displays screen, and basically it is used for navigating between objects, files. The scanner, an input device, something you can scan. Today you have apps that are scanning it. So again, these are very redundant, but it's a nice object. Remember, the keyword is OCR, optical character recognition. So you have these scanners where you immediately shade it, and it will convert them into ASCII. This is basically a standard character. It'll convert them into marks. The scanners are very common now, especially when you have to print or save a photo, all your digital locker, DigiLocker. Remember, there's a chapter we spoke DigiLocker. Every file is to be scanned and uploaded. Now, the different kind of scanners. So OCR, again and again, we're speaking about it, is a device that is used for reading text from paper and translating the image into form that computer can understand. I said these are primarily used for GMAT and your CAT examinations, and they're very, very popular even today. Then there is MICR, magnetic ink character recognition. So essentially, there is a special ink. You find them in the banking industry. So, there is a magnetic ink embossed on our checks, and you scan through it. I'll tell you, the detail will be embedded, and that is why we have the MCIR code. You see, in bank, you have these codes, IFSC code. There's an MCIR code, especially used as a scanner. Today, the barcode is a very close magnetic ink. Barcodes are very common. Then we have OMRs, again, optical mark recognition. So these are also called mark sense reader. A technology where you make a small mark. Remember what I was speaking about, optical character, very simple. Multiple choice questions are used. You can write a similar answer. CAT and GMAT exams are used this way. Barcode reader. Now you can immediately have a scanner. This is used in all of your DMarts and Reliance Fresh. A barcode reader is a device you can use in books. Books have barcode reader, so you scan it and immediately the detail, the price and everything will be given on a barcode reader. All the books should have a barcode reader, except the NIS books that we got. Digitizing tablet, what is it? So you enter drawings and sketches and it converts it into a legible format. You use your tabs and you can do digitizing tablets are these. So it detects the movement of pen or cursor, even signatures, and it converts it as an image or converts it into text into your computer. Light pen, we had this common thing that you use the pen. It is a light sensitive pen to select objects. So you use it on a big screen. These digital classroom uses it. Very popular, very common, especially in schools or corporate offices. Speech text, voice to text convert. I remember when my daughter was 2 years old, she'll say Peppa Pig. And then suddenly the YouTube will have all the Peppa Pig videos. So your speech is converted into text. Today, as authors, it is a great life-saving tool. I have a lot of thoughts, but I start writing it, it gets lost. So I can type it down. Guys, you still need to write it down in your examinations. There is no excuse for it, but these are the new technology we're talking about. Part 1 done. It may look like a long chapter, but it's a very easy chapter, so I'm not taking a lot of breaks. I'm going ahead with explaining a lot of ideas to you. CPU, the brain of the computer, central processing unit, is an instruction given to computer using any input device has to be sent to CPU for executing it. So in a microcomputer, small computer, even mobile phone, CPU is called the microprocessor. Three parts of CPU: the central unit, CU, ALU, arithmetic logic unit for all your data operations, and memory register to recall any information you've done. So let's quickly wind up the CPU for this particular part. Central unit is the main unit that manages instruction given to computer. It coordinates with all the others. So think of, in the brain, it could be called the cerebrum, right? It reads and interprets the information from memory or the memory units it has, and then transform them in series of signals. Most of them are bits and single digit, like bits and bytes, is called zeros and ones. CPU also checks the movement of electronic signal between ALU or any other devices, right? So transfer of data information is the CPU's main function. It decodes and then tells whatever you've done. It could even be rebooting a system. It's CPU's function. ALU is for arithmetic and logical units. So all your Boolean operators, where we have Boolean operator, and, or, not is used here. It's something you use. You make the flowcharts based on ALU's functions. All your mathematical operation, addition, subtraction, division, multiplication, all of this is ALU's work. And finally, for this particular recording, the memory unit. So what's a memory unit? CPU processes data and instruction high speed. How? Because there are a lot of storage memory. Special memory cells are called registers, right? A memory register is like a special storage that holds data and instruction temporarily. So you're multiplying it, it has the storage immediately in a less than a fraction of a millisecond or nanoseconds today. The storage gives it the response it requires, and this high speed makes your CPUs and your laptops and computers very effective. Remember, the content of memory is only temporarily stored. So when the machine is turned on, the content is lost. Remember that. The original IBM was the original PC maker, could hold several thousand datas. Today, even your mobile phone, your smartwatch is even better. Billions of characters in the memory. So all the best. Start storing it. Hopefully some gets stored in your memory, in your brain. All the best. This is an easy chapter, but it's a very common question. Most of the thing I taught you is a recall that you can answer it very easily in your examination. Good luck.